Okay, so here's the thing. Deion and I have been really busy as of late and have not one, but two Where We Stand videos coming to you all. But you're going to have to wait a little bit longer for them to be finished, so in the meantime... Oh, you stink! I know. Anyway, I bet you're wondering what you're looking at right now, because this isn't a Where We Stand, nor is it one of our topic videos. If you're familiar with my Give It a Whirl series on my personal channel, then you'll know what this is, but for those who don't, the Give It a Whirl series on my channel is just me playing a demo for any game that tickles my fancy and giving my opinion on the demo, and then stating whether or not I buy it based off of what I played. It's kind of a review, but it leans more on whether or not it's piqued my interest for the full version of the game. And that's what we're doing here in the meantime, while Deion plays catch up after helping save the multiverse or something.
Stephen Strange.
So today we're talking about Anno Mutationem, I think is how it's pronounced. I'd actually have to hear it in a trailer or something. But it's a game I've had my eye on for a long time and definitely want to play. That said, since it had a demo, I wanted to see how I'd feel about the game in this small slice before shelling out some cash. So, how did I like it? Well, visually the game is gorgeous. I'm a sucker for the 2D character sprites meet 3D environment art style, and this game is no exception to the rule. In fact, I'd even go so far as to say that's probably the best example of the style that I've played. Musically, the game is a bop as well, so I definitely will be checking out the soundtrack at some point in time. That said, I have two gripes with the game that may or may not be exclusive to the demo. First of all, there's no voice acting or any indication of speech unless you're paying attention to what the characters like on the main character and Ayane are saying. In most games that I've played that don't have voice acting, there are dialogue boxes you'd have to click through that are very obvious and will let you read at your own pace. This game has that too, but for some reason they're only restricted to side conversations for some reason, or at least that's what it seems like. If there's an option to put that in main conversations as well, then I'd have to wonder why that's not on by default. But anyway, the issue I have with this is that I'm so focused on what I'm doing in-game, like running around and stuff, that I sometimes missed a dialogue line or two between An and some other character. If I wanted to read it in the middle of exploring, I'd have to stop and let the conversation play out. Sure, I could multitask, but that would mean my attention is split between having to listen and doing something else, and that means I'm not focusing entirely on either thing. You kind of want to do that in some points of the game, especially one with combat. This could partially be solved if there were little beeps or boops or whatever for spoken dialogue, so I can be alerted like, oh, someone's talking. I should look around the screen for dialogue or something like that. Because my eyes aren't always going to be looking at the left or right side of the screen for the portraits or down below for any subtitles and whatnot. Like, I prefer the Ace Attorney method or whichever other game you want to say that does that. Because at least then I'd hear it, like I said, and be like, oh, someone's speaking. I'd still have to like slow down or split my attention, but at least I'll be aware rather than that all playing out and me having tunnel vision essentially and not really noticing it. I'm hoping that this was changed or tweaked in the main game, but if it wasn't, that's definitely a minus for me. Because this definitely feels more like a stylistic choice than one that really prioritized functionality. My other gripe, thankfully, is something that will likely, or probably is, I'd assume, in the full game. Or is fixed in the full game, I should say. If it's broken at all. You'll know what I mean in a moment. The combat feels stiff. In the demo, you can't double jump or anything like that, so it was really hard for me to make certain jumps towards the end of the demo. I'm likely playing the clip now, but if I'm not, you know what to do, future Daryl. The lack of fluid movement also makes combat feel pretty janky. That said, this probably wouldn't be an issue in the full game, where I'm assuming that there's some way to upgrade on and something like that. If there aren't though, and this is it, then that's a oof for me, dog. With all that said though, I'm still pretty interested in Anno Mutationem, and I would like to play it either here for DuoQueue if I can convince Deion, Or I could play it on my personal channel where the only one I'd have to ask permission for, well, from, is myself. So without further ado, please let us know in the comments below if you like this style of video for either one of us to make while the other is finishing up some stuff for where we stand. They're essentially filler videos, but I think they'd be fun to do here and there. I'm definitely down to bring it to this channel too. So, just let us know. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe, or, you don't have to. It would be cool, but, you don't have to. And thank you for queuing up with us. See ya!